Okay, hey, happy Friday! Today we're going to talk about communication and what you guys will be doing as an engineer in communicating. So, talk about three main things. We're going to talk about the importance of outgoing communication as an engineer. So what are you giving out, inputting, we're going to talk about later on. We're going to talk about three different things as we're going to do this semester in the design process. So, the deliverables, the types of those, and how we're going to grade you. Last, we'll talk about noise. So, is it important? Here's a quote that I hear probably at least every semester a few times. Right? Isn't that what you all thought? Okay, so what communicating will you do in this class in EPICS 151? Here's a model of the problem-solving process. We have definition of the problem. You guys have already talked about that in your classes. Then we get into the exploration phase, analysis after that, and then your actual implementation. All along the way, you're engaging with various stakeholders, you're doing presentations, you're keeping documentation of all of your work along the way, and project management is a huge piece. Throughout the entire problem-solving process, you will be continually testing, iterating, and refining it, and then you will do it again at the end. In this semester, you're only going to go through this process once and quit at the end of the implementation. If you were an engineer, you would go back and do it again. This semester, these are the deliverables you're handing in. So we've already gotten the client letter over here on the left side here. You're doing your clarification email. That will be the next thing, probably due next week. Then you have your project plan and team contract. You'll do a user empathy reflection if you've already done some of that in your classes, where you're actually thinking about what do the end users need in this design. All along the way, you're keeping a design log to help with the documentation and the project management piece. You'll do a design proposal, which is an oral presentation, and you'll do a rough and a final prototype, as well as a final design report and presentation to a client and various judges at the end. So, let's talk a little bit about written and graphics deliverables in this class. So, depending on your audience, you're going to create things differently, right? So, you have informal and formal deliverables, and you have internal and external. So, we'll talk about those. Just to play a little game, are you ready? You say formal or informal, depending on the picture. Here we go. Formal, right? Did everybody get that? Okay. Informal. Yep, you're getting the hang of it. Pretty obvious. And I hope you don't all do that. Okay, email can actually be both. So you can do informal and formal communication in email. Not too hard. Let's do the other method of classifying. So, same idea. You respond internal or external. I want to hear all of you. Here we go. Yup. Internal. Good job. Pretty obvious. Okay, so here's how those go together in this class. This is a chart where you can see you have formal internal documents. That's the clarification email, the project plan and team contract, and your design proposal. The informal internal communication is correspondence with us, your mentors, and within your teams. You have a design log going the entire semester. The rough prototype comes in about 3/4 of the way through the semester, and then you'll have a final prototype that is a formal external deliverable. You have user empathy reflection and hand sketches that are definitely informal and internal. The other external formal pieces are the final design report and your refined graphics. So, we'll talk about what we're focusing on in this class. We'll talk about the format, who's your audience and the different deliverables that you have, and then is noise a problem in those deliverables? So, formats, lots of them. You guys just read through this. Those will be handed to you. When you go out into the field, you will be handed a format that you need to use. Each company has their own formatting for different documents. Use the right format. Okay, so the audiences that we have in this class, the blue is your supervisor and coworkers. Those are internal. The green is your external stakeholders. So those are formal external documents. Informal external documents usually do not exist. Noise. eliminate. No good. Okay, so think about this. I'll just let you guys read it. You get the idea? Even if you think that you are so clear in what you are saying and what you're reading, what you're writing, and what you're drawing, everybody who gets that is going to interpret what you have done. So, noise, this slide is meant to drive you crazy. I'll let you just read it. Hear the problem? Alright, the next type of noise is where in all of your graphical presentation. So, your drawings can have really bad perspective. You need to use a ruler. I know that seems obvious, but most of the classes don't do that to start off. Dimension your drawings, please. When you're in SOLIDWORKS, you need to define everything. Are you labeling anything? I can't tell you how many reports I've gotten where there are no labels, and pretty much they all look like a bunch of just differently shaped boxes. Okay, how many of you guys can actually picture in your mind how long is 52,332 inches? I see this in reports all the time. Do you see a problem? Okay, so what's wrong with noise? Here's the clue. Get the picture? Time is money, guys. So you need to be efficient in everything, in your emails, in your conversations, in your reports, the presentations, the graphics, all of those things. That's how business runs. No fluff, even in government. So here's some examples. So you can create noise in written documents, oral presentations, and graphics, and you only decrease it by practice. You have to ask others to critique your work because you automatically fill in the gaps yourself. So have to ask other people to look at it. Here's the sentence. Just read through that. Can you think of a better way to state that? How about this one? Better, right? How about this one? Can all be said that way. Get the picture? That's technical writing, guys. So here's graphical examples. This one, a little bit confusing, more like an Escher graphic. This one makes more sense, right? Does perspective matter? For sure. Use a ruler, do some shading. This one is an even better technical sketch. So the way that you depict your graphics is how, when you take it to a machine shop, they're going to actually make it. Here's another example. Whoops. Have you seen that any time in SOLIDWORKS? We see it all semester. Here's a little bit better one. Those are just different planes that they have built the actual object with. SOLIDWORKS is pretty awesome. You'll see soon. Okay, so here's some wordiness. I see this all semester. We're just going to go through a few examples. So you read the left and try and decide what would be a more efficient way of saying that. So, a large number of. How about many? At this point in time. No? Come in contact with? Yep. Exhibits the ability to. In the event of. In the majority of instances. In the neighborhood. In the view of the fact that. Serves the function of being. The reason why is that. Do you get the picture? You don't sound a lot smarter. You just sound more confusing. Okay, redundancy. Alternative choices. Actual experience. Completely eliminate. Collaborate together. Diametrically oppose. Exactly identical. Permeate throughout. Prove conclusively. Rectangular in shape. You don't need redundant words, guys. Just get to the point. That's technical writing. Okay, say it again. Get to the point. Present your material logically so that anybody, any audience can understand it. Use lists for some information. You guys don't want to read a whole paragraph of something that can be put in a bulleted list. Use efficient wording. Manage your time efficiently. That means if you're pulling an all-nighter, you're probably not going to have the best submittals. Share the load and write as a team. You guys cannot do this semester individually. You're going to have to use your team. Graphical clarity. So sketches, we talked about this, ruler, lettering, dimensioning, labeling, SolidWorks, defining, and a lot of the same, dimension, labeling, and refining throughout the entire thing. So about those $5 words, don't use them. You don't sound more intelligent. You create noise and you cost money and you annoy the reader. Here's some good resources that I used to help make this presentation. Basically, we want you to learn to communicate using both sides of your brain in this class. You guys all have both sides. Probably you have a pretty strong left one at this school, but the more you use both sides of your brain, you will be set apart from other engineers and you'll be a lot more valuable in the workplace. So don't waste this semester, guys. Start sharpening those skills. Learn to use both sides of your brain and set yourself apart from all the other students.